Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're all doing well. I've been pretty good. I'm curious, how is it that you're woken up in the morning? Usually it's by two different ways, right? Firstly, it'll be lights flashing that'll wake you up, or what's that second option? Well, it's one of these. A bed shaker, right? Usually you'd put it under your mattress or underneath your pillow, and whenever it shakes, it'll wake you up. A lot of you guys have it, right? We've used this kind of thing for many years, and usually it's plugged into an old-fashioned deaf alert system that a lot of you might know, right? So it'll shake your bed for an alarm to wake you up, or maybe if somebody's ringing the doorbell, or if you got an incoming call on your TTY, or even from a fire alarm. So you'd be limited to those four kinds of alerts. If you wanted more, you'd be limited and stuck with only those four kinds of things that would shake your bed. Maybe four or five, but that would be about it. However, if you're using smart home technology, for instance, a smart plug like this, and I've made a video on this kind of thing before, you already know that you can use this to trigger on and off anything you'd like. So you wouldn't be limited to just those four different alerts that you could get with your old-fashioned system. So if you plugged your bed shaker into a smart plug, it could be triggered by many different things, and you wouldn't be limited to only four kinds of alerts. I'll give you a few different examples of how you could use this. You might have seen a vlog that I've made before about a water leak sensor. Whenever it senses water overflowing, it'll trigger your lights to turn on. So maybe, for example, at 2 a.m. you have to get up and use the washroom. You're done, you wash your hands, and you accidentally leave the water on. And you go back to bed. As the water rises in your sink, it starts to overflow. However, with the sensor, it could trigger your lights to turn on as well as shaking your bed. That would trigger you to wake up and clean up the mess if there is one. If you didn't have that kind of thing, it would damage your wall, your floors, and everything in your bathroom, and you'd have to clean it up, and it'd be a very expensive fix. Another example could be with a door sensor, that whenever it opens, it could trigger your bed to start shaking. And that might be useful to tell you if somebody's breaking into your house, and you'd be ready to protect yourself if you were awake. Or maybe you could have a sensor in your garage door to tell if somebody's breaking in there or if one of your children is leaving the house when you didn't expect them to. A few more ideas might be maybe say you had three or more kids and they have bed shaker alarms plugged into smart plugs. Maybe at 9 o'clock they're all still dozing, sleeping in, and food's ready and you want to wake them all up at the same time. You could use a smart switch like an Innovelli smart switch or something like that to trigger all of their bed shakers to wake them all up at the same time instead of doing one individually. Oftentimes you might feel like a bed shaker alarm is way too aggressive when it's waking you up, and it might kind of startle you in the morning. You've seen one of my vlogs before related to getting up in the morning, being triggered by lights, and they gradually come on over the span of maybe 10 minutes or so. Similar parallel to like the sun rising and waking you up by natural light. And you could do the same kind of thing with your bed shaker, where it more gently prods you to wake up instead of being all aggressive at once. If you know how to set it up, you could maybe do it so that you have your alarm go on for 10 minutes. Maybe in the first second, it gives you a little bit of vibration and then repeats and repeats and repeats and gets faster and faster until eventually you get up and turn it off. Or you could have it set so that, after that first time you turn it off and then you're slowly able to get ready to wake up and start your day. So you'd be able to have that set for your bed shaker as well. Usually bed shakers use a plug like this that's 12 volt, unlike 120 volt of your regular kinds of plugs. If you have a 120 volt kind, then you'd be able to just use a smart plug like this. But if it is only 12 volt, you'd have to find an adapter for 120 volt, and then you'd be able to use this. The thing is with smart plugs, you're able to use your bed shaker to be triggered by anything you want. Not only those four kinds of triggers that we're used to with our old kinds of technology, but anything. Thank you. Be smart.